Welcome to Belief, Being, and Beyond with your host, Granddaughter Crow.
So, Dream Witchery, you can get it wherever you get books on Amazon or on, you know, wherever you get books. I love that. And, you guys have to follow, please, or be one of his readers on Instagram. I'll put a shout out to your Instagram channel. But true to form, what you do more than what I see other people do on Instagram is you share other people's work. So that's how I came to know you, was one of my books. As an author, you labor over the book, you get the book out, then you hold the book and you're just amazed that it's there, but you wonder what it's doing in the world. And I saw on your Instagram channel, one of my book was in your stacks, Belief, Being, and Beyond. And I was like, it's real. My book is really out there
It's
in the
happening.
world.
It's a
It's
fascinating book.
Yeah, it's really out there. And so that's one thing, your channel really helps to promote so many different other authors. I see the Missing Witches books out there. I see Sherry Shone, that hoodoo lady. I see
Yeah, so great.
Lilith Dorsey. I see.
I love Lilith. I would put my hands on fire for her. Lilith gave us, I had the chance to meet Lilith years before that great book, Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens. I met her before. She was so kind, so nice. She was so respectful and so understanding of me with my language struggle and everything. She was always there. And then I always have this feeling like she's gonna do something great, something really big. And when she came out with that book, Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens, years ago, I find that book so empowering, so magical. Because I was initiated in candomblé and Santeria many years ago, and we didn't have a book like that one. I wish we had a book like that one because that could give us a different perspective. Because we are talking about very old traditions, which in a certain way they are so traditional that they continue being very misogynistic in certain aspects, and the woman continue being like, in a second term, in a second place. And having that book was like, I wish my sisters, my mom, everybody in my family could have the chance to read that book. It's the same with your book. Your book was so deep. Diving into your book is literally diving into the life of somebody else from a different eyes, from a different perspective. It's like, oh, I have been seeing all of these beautiful mountains in the north for so long time, but finally I had a chance to find a road in the middle so I can walk in the middle and learn all of this stuff going around that I was seeing it from outside. Now I am inside from a different perspective. And
Yes.
that's your book, which I really find fascinating. I really love read all of these books because many times I find so much empowering and so much inspiration in there, so much courage to put these stories outside that nowhere tell before for nobody else. And
Yes.
that's the reason why I'm always hands down, and this can be very cliche, but I'm always hands down for witches who are women in politics, women in every department, women teaching, women in everything, because women have so many stories that have not been told before, because we just focus in the man. That I want more women writing. I want more women doing podcasts. I want more women leading events. I want more women leading corporations, because this world has been dominated for men for thousands of years, literally. And you can see around, we have not made a very good job. And it's literal and it's real. We need more women. And just like women doing books are amazing, I'm pretty sure that women doing politics, women doing negotiations will do even better if you just give them the chance. Your book is not other book like yours out there. Missing Witches is not another book like that one out there. Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens of Lily Dorsey is not another book like that one out there. Naya's life, her books are beautiful and are not other books like those out there. Fenix Lefebvre, Laura Tempest Sackroff, we have so many amazing
Yes.
witches, women in this community, and trans women also writing books books with an amazing perspective too. That
Yes.
if you just take the time to sit down and read them, they just change your whole perspective and everything that you were thinking before from your arrogance. Oh, I knew it about this. When you read it from the perspective of a woman, is
Different.
somebody just punched you in the face and you're like, oh, I didn't know anything about this. I was just being arrogant and entitled to assume that I was knowing things. I just was seeing, the superficial part because women goes deeper on everything
I
because
love
they have certain intuitive, natural understanding on things. Because I don't know if it's because the our society is so difficult against women. I don't know if it's something in their nature. I don't know if it's the spirit of the motherhood in them, but it's something so intuitive that for you give a man a tree and the man will just cut a tree and ask what I can do with the tree. You give a woman a tree and she's gonna take the tree, she's gonna plant the seed, she's gonna bring the flowers, she's gonna take the fruit, she's gonna make some juice, she's gonna sell juice in the corner, she's gonna take other parts of the tree, she's gonna make a table, she's gonna make chairs, she's gonna see it from a different perspective that the man can see.
I love that. And just a shout out, you have true to form that you always love to support other people. You actually do have over 15 other contributors
Yes.
to this. So this really, not only is this a wealth of information, it is one of its kind, or hopefully the first of its kind, coming straight to us from the pure original lived experience of Aloe with a whole bunch of others. And it won an award from
Yes.
the Coalition of Visionary Resources in 2024 under World Spirituality. So even if you're just, maybe you're not a bruja, maybe you're not identify as a witch, maybe you just want to know world religions. Pick up this book. Again, it should be in every library. I really believe so because changing, just like what you were saying about how a female may approach the world, changing context around how we view the world by looking through the eyes of other cultures beyond the English thinker, English speaker, is going to broaden our deeper understanding of different approaches, like you said, to water, to dreams, to
Yes.
eggs, And so congratulations on winning
Thank you.
an award. That's gotta feel good.
Yes, it's the first time that I won an award for a book. I won an award for an article for a magazine many years ago, like in 2014 or 2013. I wrote an article for a magazine and I won a prize for that. From that moment, I have not won anything else. And I always find myself like not trying to give pity or something, but I'm always feel like I am in my corner doing my work. And I don't feel like I'm not looking for the attention about the work, but I'm feeling like other people are always doing great stuff. And I'm like, oh, look, they are doing this or they are doing that. And this person is doing this. This is so great. When they put me like nominated, I was like, okay, this is something interesting. I was really expecting. I didn't even check the website. I was expecting anything. And somebody called me and they was like, are you joking? And then you won the award. And I was like, wow, I mean, I love it because it's not Elhoim won an award. It's an award for my culture. It's an award to a queer gay man in America, and we need more visibility. And it's an award to my whole culture and all the other Latin American cultures. And it's an award for all the writers who collaborate in the book. And what I like more is how this will encourage and inspire other people, not necessarily Latin American, South African people, European people, Asian people, everybody else who feels like I don't find myself represented in this witch or metaphysical community.
Yes.
Hey, but he did it. I can do it too. And that is very encouraging. And I would love to see that. And I want to see more diversity. I want to see more community in a diverse aspect. I want to see women of different colors writing and teaching. I want to see
Yes.
something that I'm dying to see, and I'm not gonna rest to the moment that I see it. I'm not gonna die to the moment that I see it. Is when I see that we have more metaphysical events organized for women, because most metaphysical events in the pagan witch community are organized by white men, and they are doing amazing events. That's not a bad thing. But how many metaphysical events we have in the community organized and led by women? We just have like 2 or 3 in the whole country. I want to see more of that. I want to see, because every time that we talk about witches, the representation is a woman. When we talk about healers, the representation is a woman. When we talk about brujas in the Latin American culture, the representation is a woman. But when you go to the place, the leaders are always men, and the woman is sit down in the chair learning what they should be teaching because they have a deeper perspective on the topic. Like, why we need to have men talking about the goddess and motherhood, things that we really don't understand, because I should be teaching about the hornet god and the male god because I understand phallic things because I have one. I am a man.
Right.
Why I should be teaching you about motherhood? Why I should be teaching you about the goddess? One day, many years ago, in my arrogance, I sit down to write a book about the goddess. And after 2 chapters, I was feeling like, it's something odd here. Obviously, I never had a period in my life. I'm not never gonna get pregnant in my life.
Right.
So what I know about motherhood, I know anything about motherhood. I am a very cool uncle. I think that I am a very responsible, nice uncle. I'm very good with my nephews, but that not makes me an expert on motherhood or in goddesses. I'm just a devotee like many others. I can be a priest for a goddess, but I will never be over a priestess of the goddess because they have a deep understanding about what is happening in their bodies. Trans women have more understanding about motherhood and about femininity and about the goddess than myself. So why we have all of these events talking about the goddess, about the witches, female in the community, when all of these events are led by men?
Yeah.
It's like nonsense, really.
I love that. You're so grounded. That just makes so much sense. Um, it almost makes me go, oh, maybe I should start inspiring these women to actually fulfill the dream of bringing everybody together, just like they do on holiday, but for a metaphysical event around the goddess energy. And yeah, that's a whole thing. I'm not gonna die until then either. Till I see more
Yes,
of
I
that.
think uh, years ago, I think that was 2009, because I have been around the metaphysical community many years before to come here. I was in Venezuela and was this workshop about discussing the indigenous goddesses in Latin America. And one of I remember were 4 teachers, and one of them was criticized publicly because the teacher was a trans woman, and we're talking 2009
Okay.
in Latin America. And we are
Wow.
not, and we are not so advanced socially in those aspects, you know? And I remember sitting down because for me, it's always whatever you want to say, probably you have something to say in there. So with all the respect, I'm going to sit down to listen to your talk. And this trans woman, we're talking about the aspects of motherhood and about the goddesses. And her perspective was entirely different from the other born woman in the room. But she had something that men don't have. She has the desire to be a woman. She had the desire to be treated and considered a woman. She had the desire to understand better motherhood. She had the desire to turn herself into a complete woman in a certain point of her life. And I was thinking, we men, we don't have that desire. I identify myself like a gay man. I usually don't use too much the word queer because I don't continue feeling myself like queer. I continue being very old school, very stubborn, very Capricorn. I am a gay man. Uh, but having in front of you a person who identifies like a woman, understanding motherhood from a different aspect, something that I don't wish to have, because if you give me the option to be a woman, I will be very coward just thinking, okay, I'm gonna have a period every month. It's so much work, it's so much money that women need to spend on that. It's so much treatment, it's so much stuff that you need to buy, it's so much money. I don't have that money. But also, oh, you can have babies, but also, I mean, your body will change, your bones will change, your blood will change, your organs will change, your diet will change, your schedule to go to the restroom will change. And you need to do all of that while you continue working and being mistreated for the whole society. And then after that, you're gonna have your baby in a hospital where probably the doctor will be a man who don't understand a 0% of what you are feeling and suffering. And you're gonna have your baby and you continue working, doing the food, doing everything else that every man does, but also you have the responsibility to carry a baby, feed the baby, take care of the baby while your body at the same time is healing. Your bones are going back to their position, your organs are trying to go back to their position, all your reproductive system is trying to going back to their original position. And all of that is happening while you're taking care of the baby. What understanding I, like a gay man, have about that? Absolutely nothing. But having a trans woman who is saying, I will put my hands on fire just to suffer that, it's
Yeah.
like, wow, she really channeled the spirit of the goddess. She really channeled that spirit of bringing a baby alive to the world. And that's something that just women and trans women can understand. Me, like a gay man, I am gay, but I still not being a woman. I don't have that deep understanding, and I will never have it. And it's very sad that in a community that we talk so much about the goddess, we need to empower the goddess, we have goddesses, and we use so much that word, we continue being led by men. And the women are behind the man doing all the work.
Yeah.
Feels odd.
It does. I love what you're saying. I mean, literally, I was laughing because what you're saying is so true. And I love that you're calling it out because I am a mother and now I have grandchildren. And it takes a lot, but we don't
It takes
really.
a village to have a baby and raise a baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank you for that. So I'm really excited. People, please pick up this book. You will not regret it. Um, Even Elo goes back to it and looks up. So this is a book of recipes, it's a book of spells, it's a book of explaining things from originally South America. If you have roots and from one of those things, and maybe you saw, oh, I remember my grandmother with an egg doing something, maybe you can connect with, wow, there was more things that my grandmother was doing that I didn't understand, why she was playing with that red string or what she was doing with that
Yeah,
doll or that kind of a
or,
thing.
or even if you are just into witchcraft and you are not into Latin American stuff, something that I appreciate to have in the book is I have more than 100 spells in the book. And sometimes when I meet with circles, with comments, with other groups of magic, and we're talking about this magic, I'm very curious about what other people does. So I'm like, oh, you can put this charm bag under your pillow, or you can put this mirror next to your bed, or you can put this oil rubbing the door when you go to sleep. And they're like, while you are sleeping, yes, because you are literally not protected when you are sleeping. You are literally unconscious. You don't know what is happening to your body. And most witches have this philosophy that we work in the night. I personally work more during the day in my spell work, but a lot of witches culturally work in the night. So if you have any enemy, any person who have envy on you, they're gonna do the spell work while you are sleeping, not while you are awake, because all your senses are awake and your spirit guides are awake. When you go to sleep and you feel entirely disconnected of the situation and your spirit guides are resting during those hours, you are totally vulnerable from any spell. So you need to protect yourself because you're gonna be unconscious. People is like, oh, you have certain reason on that. I mean, what you are saying have sense. And I'm like, yes, you need to overprotect yourself. How you put an altar in your bedroom and everybody look at me crazy, like, no, I don't want to have that energy in the room. It's just an altar for dream and sleep. It's for
Yes.
both things. You put a little altar in your room and you put some stuff in there to represent in your dreams, or if you want to dream with something, you put a crystal ball or some symbols representing what you want to dream, or if you are looking for a lover, you put a picture of the lover in that altar. If you want to feel protected, you put something under your pillow. If you want to open chances for joy, you put a key under your pillow or inside of a pillow. If you feel that certain enemy is against you doing some witchcraft stuff, you put a bottle with salt and black pepper and the picture of the person a little ahead of you, and you put it on on your bed and you go to sleep. So any spell coming from that person will raise into your bed. It's so many things that you can do around your bedroom, and so much sleep magic and dreams magic that you can do, and you're not doing it because you assume, oh, I'm gonna be sleeping. Well, you're gonna be sleeping, but the magic will continue happening in
Yes.
there.
Yeah. I have one last question, but a very important question for you. What is your view, since you're bringing us this wonderful book, Dream Witchery? What is your thoughts on it's a lot of it is that South American original, pure indigenous South American, you know, rituals. What if,
Yeah.
like, a white-bodied male who has no connection in their DNA, is it okay if they practice this? Is there a line, or how do you view that?
I think it's a very interesting question. The line about cultural appropriation, which should be the term here, is when people try to literally appropriate something. Oh, I just learned this from the book, so I'm selling you that. I mean, how many years of expertise you have? You have visited country, you have practiced these kind of things. Because, for example, I have this little altar on my this English word, because we don't have this word in Spanish, pantry. I have pantry, and in the pantry I have a little altar for the gods of fortune. They come from the Japanese culture, and they have a little altar in there because I visit very often the Chinese market, and the Chinese market, they have so much interesting stuff all the time, especially herbs for witchcraft. They are amazing. But I visit so often that I'm just making friends with everybody, and they give me all the time some kind of gifts, and all of these gifts I put them together one day, and I see, oh, I have so much stuff. So I give them the whole room, and they put all of these symbols and amulets and the whole 7 gods of fortune in there. And I pray for them to give me fortune. I try to be respectful with them because they are in another culture. They come from another culture. I don't understand that language. I don't understand that culture. I'm not giving to other people, let me give you a class on the 7 days, on the 7 gods of fortune, because that's very inappropriate when I has never been in Japan, I don't talk the language, I barely know about them. I didn't even pay for these items. They were given to me. I just try to get something from them. I just trying to, okay, I have it, I'm not gonna trash it. I'm gonna use it and put it in there. But I don't appropriate, I just appreciate it. When it's about different cultures, I think it's very important to respect from where this come, who teach me that, how I learn it, and how my perspective will give you certain insight. Because if I'm gonna teach you, I don't know, Feng Shui, what gives me a voice to teach you about that? From where comes my expertise, and what give me the qualifications? More important is how you being a customer feel comfortable paying for that, or learning that from someone who probably don't have the years of expertise. Because I come from a spiritist lineage from the uncle of my grandma. We are a very long lineage of spiritists in the family. And it's a lot of spirits and animals that I will be able to teach you to work with them, but I will not advise you to work with them, because if you are not an expert, I'm like, you want to work with that animal? Are you really sure? Like, you really need it? Because you have other thousands of options out there. And people say, yes, okay, you carry your consequences, because if you really believe in the magic, in the energy of what you are doing, you should be very careful and have some certain level of experience on this. It's like when people just buy a tarot deck and they just want to start doing readings the next week. You don't have any experience. You just read the manual. What people gonna sit down and pay to you, they're gonna waste it, because you don't have really the insight, the vision, the expertise, the clairvoyance to give an interpretation to the person. And many times people will come to you literally trusting you, their life, their secrets, their personal stuff, very individual things that they don't say to other people, their mistakes, their hopes. And when whatever you are saying in your cards, you are playing with us. So You need to be very responsible with the energy that you're putting in there because they are the customers and they don't know how much expertise do you have. And that can go in a very bad way. If somebody reads from my book certain things, I would advise them, okay, put this into practice, try to learn exactly the whole context of the situation. And if you find yourself like, okay, I have expertise on this, I understand the language, I think this spell will work for me in this or another way, okay, I'm gonna try to do it. That's okay if you are doing it. What I will not consider is if you go take something from the book, you just barely know it and you go to teach it to somebody else because you are misinforming people out of context, and whatever they do, you will be the responsible person of the
Right.
consequences of that because we are talking with spirits, deities, animas, ancestors who gonna be getting mad, who gonna get very mad if you do something very disrespectful to them. That's the reason why you many times find people who are like, oh, I was playing with a Ouija, nothing happened, but I don't have very good relationship with anybody for the past 12 years. Interesting. Why do you think it's that? Because everything that you do have a consequence in an energetic way in a certain point. Tomorrow, in 2 weeks, in 3 years, in 15 years, but you will have the consequences of everything good and bad that you do because you are playing with energies that you many times are not seeing. And you need to be very careful and responsible with that, especially if you're working with deities and spirits who don't even understand your language when you're talking.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that. And just really spelling out appropriation versus appreciation. People feel free to appreciate, but don't appropriate.
Yeah,
Don't take it and you have no connection to the ancestors or the deities, and then you decide to charge somebody else and you're doing the service. I think that that's
yeah.
a very good line, but yet if there is something in the book that you start feeling that connection to, and you get into it and you learn and you do your consciousness and you want to try something out, that's perfectly fine. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, for example, I have 8 years living in the USA. I had read a lot about Marilu Beao from New Orleans. I have read 3 books. I have a certain collection of spells. I bought online certain things from her museum or store, I don't remember. And they have all of these items here. I have talked with experts on the topic. I had taken classes on the magical culture of Maria Lobeau. I understand her English language. I understand her ancestry. I understand a little bit of the original language from Haiti and Jamaica, but I'm not gonna make a summon into Maria Lobeau because she will be like, "Who are you, little baby? You're playing here with fire. Why are you doing this to you?" I'm not gonna do that because I try to be a responsible person. I prefer to continue working with my animas, my spirits, my orishas, my own deities. Now I'm living in the state of New York, so I work with the spirits, the local deities here. I try to be very responsible. I dedicate the space to them. I try to have their favor. I never asking for favors to them. I just give them offerings all the time in the patio. I put candles for them. I make bonfires for them every week. I make incense for them. I just try to receive their protection, their blessings, so they don't feel uncomfortable with me, because I understand that at the same time I continue being an outsider energy for them, and I want their respect. I want their blessing in my magical work, but I will not try to appropriate their culture. I'm not going to sit down and say, oh, I have almost 9 years here, so I'm going to start making chants in a native language, and I'm going to start working with the native spirits because probably the native spirits of here are going to find me like, okay, you are being an outsider here and you're crossing the line. So please stay away.
I love that. I love that, especially, being a Navajo, indigenous of North America myself, coming from that bloodline. And when I go and visit, on the reservation, Navajo reservation, it's really powerful, the spirits that we work with. And those spirits aren't willy-nilly. They are really like, hey, you respect me, or
Yeah.
and a lot of ancestral thing. And I think that you're saying the same thing. So Ello, I had just a wonderful conversation with you and listening to the way that you see the world. Is there any last thing that you want to say to the listening audience?
Be nice, be kind, be strong. You matter. Vote, please vote. Vote, seriously. Be kind, be nice in every decision that you take. Don't take anything personal. People don't do things to you, people do things. You choose if those things affect you or not. Be kind, especially when I say be kind, I'm not saying be kind with everybody, even if they are rats with you. Be kind with yourself. That's much more important. Don't put yourself low for anybody, because you are not responsible for the decisions that other people make with their lives and how they assume things. You just be kind with yourself because you matter a lot. Be nice, be wild, be authentic, be yourself. If some people don't like it, that's really not your concern.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you for
And
your time.
oh, it's my honor. Congratulations on the book and the award. So, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to yet another episode of Belief Being and Beyond with your host, Granddaughter Crow. You can text the show if you go down, or you can leave me a comment. Love to hear your feedback. Want to connect with the listeners? Like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to share this with anybody who you feel might like what we're talking about. And I love ya, and we'll see you on the flippity flip.